Sasuke versus the Raikage is one of the most brought up battles in any discussion, as it allows for the cusp of transition between the points where Sasuke and Naruto go about surpassing the strongest shinobi in the world in the 5 Kage as professed in the chapter 457 editorial statement. However, even with it being so brought up, Sasuke most definitely would have won the Raikage fight had it extended any longer, so today let's address the truth of the matter in that also, along with kind of deflating numerous misconceptions surrounding the fight through a complete analysis. The battle itself only really lasts from the end of chapter 460 and the beginning of chapter 464, displaying just how fast-paced the fight is. However, I will still cover a plethora of evidence regarding Sasuke to substantiate how he would have won. But let's address the fight, beginning with Sasuke plowing down multiple samurai without any struggle, rocking his newfound power in his MS, which is currently amplifying his power through making his chakra both colder and thicker, enhancing the quality of the chakra, which in turn drastically boosts ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu, as stated by Fukasaku when talking to Naruto, which gets corroborated upon by both Tobirama and Maguire from the Sakura novel, who discuss the chakra and its qualities in relation to physical changes, which we can come back to a little bit later. Then knowing of Sasuke's location, blasts through the wall already with his version 1 cloak active, where he would pummel Jugo while Suigetsu gets parried off by Darui. C then states that A's nerve transmission speed when using the lightning chakra to augment his reflexes is on par with Konoha's yellow flash, which is in reference to the reputation earned by Jonin Minato. However, C concedes that the 4th war is his first time participating in a war, which fits with how he would have been like 7 during the 3rd war, so he simply doesn't know what he's talking about, and the Raikage's power thus far is entirely ambiguous. However, chapter 461 does still conclude with an editorial note that A is now going to be serious, hence his bloodshot eyes. This version 1A then tanks Jugo's curse mark explosion point blank, and Sasuke completely stun drops C, showing how both the leaders of the opposing forces are vastly above their inferior tagalongs. Sasuke, noticing this very point, decides to engage A in his realm of advantage, using a lightning-enhanced blade and then a Chidori to attempt to clash with A's lightning-enhanced taijutsu. The second fanbook details Kishimoto's thought process when designing the 5 Kage, where he heavily focuses on the Raikage, meaning to be a professional wrestler style of fighter, which is highlighted through his maybe Hulk Hogan inspired hair, and more importantly, his wrestling championship belt around his waist. The blade then bounces off, and this 3 Tomoe Sharingan Sasuke charges straight at A from the side, who then responds, where they would kind of move at equal speed. However, Sasuke baited him into moving just straight forward, hence to why he moved to the front side when he had his back. Opening chapter 463, Sasuke could then utilize his Sharingan to precog the timing of A's strike, to where he then ducks under the strike, piercing directly through the cloak and into A's pec. Although, pay attention to the lightning style on both sides, where you'll notice that the Chidori now becomes the largest we've ever seen it, with it dwarfing Sasuke's entire body, with the lightning cloak completely jolting off in countless directions. This would imply, probably, that Sasuke's Chidori offered a much stronger discharge of electricity, causing it to literally blast everywhere. So, thus far, Sasuke has led the tide of battle, countering the Raikage at his own game completely, whilst both were suppressed in the 3 Tomoe and V1 states respectively. However, with Sasuke besting A in the previous confrontation, A then unexpectedly grabs Sasuke whilst his hand is in his chest to then Liger bomb him in that pro wrestling style. Sasuke certainly didn't expect the Raikage to grab him, where the Raikage would use enough force to cause the tension lines, where he would wrap his arms over Sasuke's arms, grabbing right around his rib area. Neither of Sasuke's arms could therefore reach down to then force his way out of this hold, as neither arm has any leverage. He then lifts Sasuke vastly above his head, whilst both arms still have no leverage and he's in the air, and therefore can't just dive out or anything. Kari notes his chakra is growing even more, in reference to the Raikage, and that Sasuke then gets completely blasted through the floor, with the focal point of all the damage being his neck. The smoke then clears, and A shows shock and questions Sasuke being alive, as Darui prior thought Sasuke would be a dead man. A rib of the Susanoo then pops up on panel with a crack. Therefore, Sasuke, caught off guard with no physical leverage, was being completely slammed, yet still activated a move to completely null a majority of the damage apart from probably the neck impact. A realizes this and instantly goes for a downward chop while Sasuke is on his back, and yet with that, Sasuke can completely blitz the Raikage using an arm of the Susanoo to form and get a grip on some rocks and completely propel Sasuke out of the crater like 20-ish feet away, where it's then revealed that Sasuke needed the MS, and A, seeing this, knows he can't compete and activates his full power version 2 cloak, which is essentially way more chakra just being allocated to the lightning cloak, to the point where A's hair flares up in the back. So with Sasuke getting the point in the first piece, who should get the point for this section? And while it may seem obvious in saying A, I might disagree with you, as you would have to contextualize that he was not only able to Liger bomb Sasuke due to his unorthodox approach to grabbing Sasuke, where then Sasuke would then be at a severe disadvantage, yet still found a way to tank the fatal attack in the only possible time frame given, where they then did the exact same thing the next time A went to strike, except he wasn't off guard and wasn't disadvantaged, and was only really disadvantaged through him being on his belly, yet he completely blitzed the Raikage's movement via the Susanoo and repositioned the entire battle. Therefore, while this section could be given to both, giving a point to each, I guess, I think it should still certainly be declared that Sasuke can tank the best of what A had to offer while at his worst, while also making it known that the MS is beyond the version 1 cloak. So I'm going to give this point to Sasuke, but just for charity, I'm going to give A half a point on the basis that he was willing to make this stupid move and grab Sasuke while his hand was in his chest, which did give him an advantage. Sasuke then, in response to A activating V2, then decides to use Amaterasu, blasting it out at A, who could utilize his top speed in the body flicker to then react to and then dodge the attack. Sasuke then turns his head to see A gone, who is completely behind him now, placing him at the disadvantage utilizing A's superior speed. A then charges towards Sasuke with his left arm cocked back for the lateral bolt of pain. Yet Sasuke, just following the official activation for the lateral bolt, then fully ignites the entire ribcage in Enton / flame control, which this piece right here is crucial and is by far the most pivotal point of scaling for Sasuke, as the Enton goes up completely whilst A is moving. However, a common point of reputation would be that A halts his movement. However, this probably isn't true, at least in this panel, as the full Enton is erected when A's left foot is still close to his center of mass, and there are motion lines covering his body indicating that he is in motion, and it's only in the next panel where that left foot is then shown at an angle that would make it kind of face outward, where there are now tension lines then on that leg, indicating how A is now pivoting that momentum, meaning that the Enton can fully erect relative to or greater than A's sideways propelled motion. However, A also does mentally notice the flames in the same panel that it's erected, implying they aren't directly faster than him completely. So in regards to speed feats, this particular scene falls kind of moot for both parties. Karin then notes how nothing can match the Raikage's speed, so Sasuke simply defends himself so that A can't attack recklessly, which implies that A is still faster than Sasuke, but he can kind of slightly keep up, and more importantly, it should be obvious that A won't just hit an inferno flame-covered absolute defense. Right? Wait, right? Wrong. A, in that again unorthodox manner, just lateral bolts straight through the Susanoo, crushing pieces of it with his taijutsu, giving us this terribly embarrassing image for Sasuke. Chapter 464 opens with Sasuke coughing up blood with the same sound effects from Itachi and his Susanoo, showing newfound drawbacks. There is a large visible bruise on Sasuke's neck, indicating that A actually did strike Sasuke with his full force directly, but he simply tanked it and is now at a disadvantageous position because of A's awkward decisions. Again, A is in midair with a leg drop and a guillotine drop, and Sasuke can react via erecting the Inton and shaping it into spikes that will stab straight through A and kill him if this continues, but it doesn't. Gar intercepts his leg drop from an unknown distance, activating his sand at an unknown time. Sasuke's reaction through the activation of Inton is entirely valid though, seen as if this were just merely gravity, while A is a 250-pound man. These are chakra-enhanced superhumans we are talking about, and there still has to be something augmenting A's raw movement speed in this downward motion, which would best be explained through the lightning cloak. So, who gets the point here? Well, again, similar to the first point, A just mimicked an even less expected move in striking the Inton, and Sasuke was caught off guard. However, he managed to completely tank it, and from his disadvantageous position from the floor, he was completely capable of igniting and forming the Inton to where it would stab A. So, for Sasuke, he will get the actual point for further progressing the battle in his favor, but A can get half a point, again, for simply how much aura Sasuke lost in this panel, leaving the total score at the end of this battle 3-1 Sasuke's lead. However, for the last and final point, I want to address who would have won if it would have continued from that point where we left off, and well, to put it lightly, A's poop chute was about to be done being an exit only. The Inton was about to go straight through all of his organs from the bottom up. So obviously, if you disagree with the whole thing, Sasuke would have killed A, meaning that he would have walked out alive. A wouldn't have, therefore he won. But whatever, I'm not going to play that. Let's just argue that A gently floats away and the battle is resituated, meaning that Sasuke is now unharmed after both of A's landed significant strikes have been to the neck, leaving a pretty meaty bruise. A has a hole in his chest that's dripping blood and an arm that needs to be amputated and rendered useless as it's covered in Inton, so now he's also missing an arm as that's cut off now, which was the arm he used in the final blow. A also immediately deactivated the lightning cloak, however I wouldn't argue this to be a stamina thing, rather just a choice. And now before continuing, I would like to note that yes, the Inton will burn A alive, however the Inton burns intended targets, which is why, like the Amaterasu, the samurai don't get ignited instantly, the trees in the Itachi fight don't incinerate, why Madara isn't dead instantly, and hence here why A's arm isn't igniting, because the Susanoo was the intended target, not A. But anyway, just following this, Sasuke then gets a massive amp to his chakra to the point where Kari notes it, just like how she noted his previous one before facing the Raikage, if you remember that, where his Susanoo also develops further now in response to that, where Sasuke would then go on to battle A using no longer a ribcage Susanoo, but a full skeletal Susanoo that can tank combo attacks from Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, and Darui, whilst A is now, well, weaker with a hole in his chest and an arm missing. If the fight continues and Sasuke doesn't find a way to beat the Raikage and kill him like he would have just previously done, then he does still have much more time to develop this chakra potency as he did throughout the summit, as these amps continued through not only the Danzo fight but the Kakashi one to follow, meaning that he would just be continually getting stronger even more than what's been presented thus far, whilst A is just going to be getting weaker. So therefore, Sasuke also gets this point as well, meaning the final score is 4-1 Sasuke's lead, and that's being kind of generous to A, as we gave him a point because he looked better in a panel. So yeah, while panels like this will certainly have won, initially assuming that A would have won, further analysis completely destroys this idea and continues the narrative in a healthy direction of Sasuke and Naruto having surpassed the 5 Kage, as Naruto would now come to be equals to this Sasuke by the end of the arc. But what did you guys think? Did you guys understand the true winner of this battle all along, or did I manage to empirically change your mind, or do you just don't change your mind, I guess, off this video because of maybe you feel a certain way with no evidence? Either way, be sure to still subscribe as it helps out a ton, and let me know why you guys believe these things and what you thought of this video. So yeah, more importantly than all this though, may God bless you all. Love you guys.